Good evening, everyone. We're going to get started in just 2 seconds. Make sure everybody has a seat. How is everybody doing tonight, by the way? Glad you came? You will be if you weren't before, you will be after. So I just want to give a quick welcome. Thank you so much for coming to the Alumni Career Panel. If you didn't know, we hold one of these once a semester. In the fall, it's undergraduate alumni. In the spring, it's graduate alumni. And then in the summer, it will be a mixture of both. So if you haven't graduated, if you're not an alumni yet, get ready because I'll be calling on you. I'm Leslie. You'll get an email from me. If you are an alumni, get ready because I'll call you. I'm going to quickly turn the time over to the Dean of Student Affairs, Regina Robinson.
Good evening. 5 people say good evening. Let's try it again. Good evening. Good evening. So excited that you all are here tonight. We have this wonderful opportunity at Cambridge College to hear the stories of those who've gone before you and been there, done that. And in the Office of Student Affairs, we really pride ourselves on wanting to meet the needs of our students in the places and the spaces that you are in life. Whether you are coming to college for the first time or coming to college for the 4th time, which you may hear tonight. Whether you are taking care of family members while you are attending college or whether you're just trying to hold it down yourself. We all bring so many stories to the table, and your story is what makes you such an incredible and vital member of our community. And so from my office to your seats, I just want to say thank you so much for coming tonight. Those of you who are coming as classrooms, it's a very enriching experience to come as a community. We found this took place in the summertime where classrooms came together and then they were able to debrief together as a class. And then they were able to follow up with one another and ask, did you follow up with this person from the Alumni Career Panel? Do you remember so-and-so's story and how that related to your experience? So because you are building this student community and it's a very rich community, you're able to follow up with one another, encourage one another, and continue to enrich this wonderful community at Cambridge College. As the Dean of Student Affairs, I have the awesome privilege to serve you all, support you all, in the classroom, but also outside of the classroom. And those of you who've been in orientations with me know that the one thing that we love to communicate is that 4-chair model, the 4 legs of a chair. And you're able to sit in a chair and the chair supports you and holds it up. And just like those 4 legs holds up the chair, there are 4 areas of student affairs that holds the student up. And it's the student care piece, it's the student communication, it's the student conduct, and it's the student community. And we find with those 4 C's that we are here to support you as a student. So whether it is through academic advising or career support, or whether it is through disability support, we want to support you and serve you as a student. Again, I'm excited that you're here, and I'm really thankful that you have taken the time to hear from some incredible panelists tonight who have unique stories and unique experiences that they are eager to share with you. I know some of them personally, and so I've been able to see their journey, and that's the exciting part for us as staff and administrators, is to walk alongside you in your journey at the college. So without further ado, I would like to now introduce our provost, and our Chief Academic Officer, Dr. Elwood Robinson. Would you please give him a hand?
Thank you so much, Dean Robinson. Good evening. Good evening. I am so glad to see you here tonight to be a part of this event, and I want to thank our panelists for agreeing to participate and to be a part of this alumni panel. As you see on the screen behind you, you can actually tweet and you can actually follow me. If you follow me, you follow me at your own risk. I may say anything, I may tweet about anything, but it's important. I mostly tweet about really trying to support and try to get the word out about Cambridge College in terms of this wonderful place that we have trying to serve and do it well, we think, working adults. What you will have here tonight is an opportunity to hear from some very recent graduates I see as I look at the program here who have graduated last year and maybe even a year ago. So that's refreshing to see some of our newer graduates. As you can see, in terms of Cambridge College, over 30,000 alumni have come from this college, from this institution, which is really amazing. We have a job in academic and student affairs with Dean Robinson and the rest of the deans, and talk about academic programs and make sure that we create the best possible learning experience for you in the classroom, but also create an experience for you outside of the classroom. We have to begin, and we will, and we are, cultivating kind of a new kind of relationship with our alumni. If you look at any college that's worth its salt, it really is driven by the folks who graduate from that institution, who go out and they spread the word about the work that we're doing, and we continue to thrive. And so much of what has happened at this institution over the past 40 years has been driven by that, by folks who have come and who've had a wonderful experience in the classroom and have been able to advance their careers on so many different levels, and they go out and they spread the word. We have to engage them, we have to involve them, we have to make you, those who have graduated here, and also those students who will be graduating, when you leave here, you will come back and you will do these kinds of events, but you will support us. You will support us financially. But we can't ask you to do any of that if you don't have a very good experience. If we don't work with you from the day that you come into this college, work with you to make sure that it's easy for you to register, that it's easy for you to close out your financial aid, that it's easy for you to get a transcript, that it's easy for you to register for your courses, we have to do better on that end, and we will. And that is why we have all the people in place. The people that you will see tonight, the people that you will meet tonight are people that are driving and looking at the new Cambridge College from a customer service standpoint. You will hear, if you haven't heard Dean Robinson talk about that in terms of customer service, you will hear from me about the need to do that better, because it feeds into our current student body and it feeds into those 30,000 alumni that we have around the country. And when you leave, you will then begin to give back. I just had my 35th college reunion. Don't do the math, don't add it up. I just had my 35th college reunion at North Carolina Central University. A wonderful time over the weekend where we really had a very good time partying, but we actually partied for a purpose. And we had a little party, and we threw that class in 1978, and we left the university $105,000. Little party, just a little party. But the idea is that you leave a place, and if you're treated well, then you will then give back and you will come back. But what we need to know from you is, if we are not treating you well, then how can we change that? That's why Dean Robinson and her team are here. That's why we meet collectively in terms of the Council of Deans to make sure we are providing what you need in order to be successful. I am so excited about being here. I can't stay. I have the World Series starts. No, that was a joke. I will be here with a little while. I do have to go and do some work. Really. But I will be here. But I will be.
Yeah, right.
Just no, tweet the score.
Yeah. I'll tweet the scores. You can follow me, and I'll tell you the first and second. No, actually, this will be over before the World Series starts. So, thank you so much. Welcome. Sit back, listen to this outstanding group of panelists that we have. If you have questions, let us know how we can be better, how we can be a better Cambridge College. Thank you.
So, as you guys heard, we have a great provost, we have a great dean of student affairs. I don't know if many of you know me, so I'm going to take a quick minute to introduce myself. I am the career resource coordinator. I was not here last year. I started in November, so I'm very excited to have my first year anniversary with this school coming up very soon.
Welcome aboard.
I'm sorry?
Welcome aboard.
Thank you. We'll have another party. As the provost mentioned, we are live tweeting tonight. I don't know if any of you have Twitter, but if not, you should get on board. The provost is hilarious to watch his tweets. If you don't watch Scandal, you'll want to watch it because of him. But also, if you do have Twitter and you are going to be live tweeting with us, I just ask that you turn off your phones so that we can still hear the panels that we did come to hear. But I did want to live tweet the nuggets that they're going to be giving out. And a little bit about myself. I started here because of two people, and I do what I do because of two people. And the first one is my mom. My mom is a single mom. She raised 6 kids by herself. I'm the youngest of 6. I am the only one that doesn't live in Utah, so I get a lot of guilt trips. But she raised all of us by herself, and she taught all of us to find out what we do and to do it well. But more than that, find out what we do and use it to help other people. And I felt that I could see people's potential and see what they want to do, and so it is a pure joy. It's why I get up in the morning, why I'm excited to come to work in the morning, because I see students' potential and I see what they want to do, and it makes me want to do my job even better for them. The second reason I do what I do is because my sister, I feel, embodies the spirit of Cambridge College. My oldest sister, her oldest daughter is 17, her youngest daughter just turned 1. And she just began going back to school a year ago because she was like, I want to go back. My daughter's soon gonna be going to school and I want to go back. She did, she went back for a year. She got a 4.0 every semester. I've never even done that, so I have no idea how she did that with 5 daughters, a part-time job, as well as going to school, but she did. This past spring, she called me in tears saying that she was going to have to stop school for a little bit because her family needed her. And it really affected me because I wanted her to stay in school and I wanted her to be able to be super mom. But I realized that she is who a lot of our students are. You have lives, you have things that you have to take care of, and it's how we balance all of those and how we have those support systems. And I'm here to tell you that I am a part of that support system on this side, as are your faculty, as are your staff, student affairs in particular, because I'm biased, I work for them. We're here to help you. And any way that we can be that support system, we want to be that support system for you. Having said that, I want to introduce our panel moderator. She's one of you. She is a student, she is my student worker, and I don't know what I would do without her. She is also like my sister. She works a job outside of here. She works for me. She goes to school, and she's a mom of 4. How she does it, I will never know, but she does it, and she does it well. And I'm so grateful to have her. And she is going to be moderating the panel. I'm going to give you a quick rundown of how tonight will work before she comes up here. We're going to have Tiffany come up. She's going to introduce each of the panelists. And then after she does her introductions, they'll each come up and give a little speech. I've told them 7 to 10 minutes, and I crack that whip because everybody needs to have time to ask questions at the end. So make sure you have questions to ask them. After they give their brief journey, they'll be asked questions by Tiffany, and she'll moderate those questions, and then she'll open it up to questions from the audience. So with that, I will give you Tiffany.
Thank you, Leslie, for such a wonderful introduction. Hello, everyone. Welcome. So first, I'd like to start by thanking everyone for taking the time out of your busy schedules to be here with us tonight. I assure you that you will enjoy yourself and you will walk away with a handful of very important information to carry you through your journeys. So we want to start with giving everyone a quick bio of our panelists. Thank you for being here today. So if you look at your programs, we're going to start in order of your program. So we'll start with Marco Casarano. Marco graduated from Cambridge College in 2013 with his Bachelor's of Science in Management Studies. Currently, he is a principal and the Director of Information Technology at Canaccord Genuity. Okay, and just a few personal facts about Marco. Marco notes that one of his most valuable experiences here at Cambridge College was in his Community Dynamics course. He notes that this course was one of the most valuable and lasting experiences he's ever had here. His favorite science fiction book is The Eye of the World by Robert Jordan, and his favorite business book would be The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. One of his inspirations, Marco notes that when a person overcomes an obstacle, makes a connection, and realizes because of this new understanding, they have the capacity to do something great, that's an inspiration. Welcome, Marco. So next we're going to talk about Mr. Craig Ingerman. Craig graduated from Cambridge College in 2012 with his Bachelor's of Arts in Multidisciplinary Studies. In 2013, Craig started Airman Building Services, which is an MBE, DBE certified commercial cleaning and facility management company. Airman employs 6 part-time workers and is rapidly growing a solid company with unlimited growth. And just a few personal facts about Craig. Craig states that, he believes that pursuing his education here at Cambridge College was one of the best decisions he's ever made. His favorite book is Driven from Within by Michael Jordan. His favorite color is blue, and he has a few idols, but one in particular is Barack Obama, the first African-American president of the United States, father and husband. No matter the opposition, he remains true to his word. Welcome, Craig. So next we have Miss Della Jean-Pierre. Della graduated from Cambridge College in 2013 with her Bachelor's of Arts degree in psychology with a concentration in holistic studies. Currently, Della is enrolled at the School of Management, working towards a master's degree in organizational leadership. And on a personal note, Della mentions that students staying connected to students is one of the most important ways to, 1, have that support system within your school environment, and 2, a great way to stay up to date with school information. She actually has a favorite food that's very interesting, which happens to be slices of cheese pizza with ketchup. Her favorite color is purple. One of her idols are Kerry Washington, and one of her goals would be to complete her Master's of Management at Cambridge College and to work with companies that promote the practice of holistic development in youth and women. Welcome, Della. And that brings us to Miss Wendy Perez. Wendy graduated from Cambridge College in 2012 with her Bachelor of Arts degree in multidisciplinary studies. She currently works for East Boston High as a paraprofessional. She is also working towards her Master of Education at Cambridge College. Wendy is a bilingual paraprofessional who takes pride in speaking to other Cambridge College students about her journey. She believes that staying connected with other students who supported and encouraged her throughout her process was one of the reasons she made it through successfully. Her favorite book is A Child Called It by David James Peltzer, and one of her goals would be to complete her Master's of Education here at Cambridge College, the management building, in moderated disability in order to become a teacher in special education. Welcome, Wendy. So as Leslie mentioned, we're going to take the time to allow each of our panelists to come up and just give a little bit of information about themselves and their journey. And again, 7 to 10 minutes. Thank you. We'll start with Marco.
Good evening, everyone. So when Leslie first asked me to speak this evening, I thought, well, sure, I just break out my resume and I'll tick down the boxes, right? I did this, I did that, I did this, and I got here and there, and then I thought, but that doesn't tell you who I am and why I made the decision to come back to school and why I chose Cambridge College, which probably isn't all that wonderful when you first hear about it, but it grew into something that I think is great. And not only do I think it was the best decision I ever made, but just being able to come here and do something like this and having the platform to feel like my voice can be heard is what I got from Cambridge College. Cambridge College ultimately gave me the courage to do this. Dean Robinson sat with me for hours on end as I did my speech for commencement, and she took a shaky young guy, say young with some white with a 30-minute speech, trying to shave it down to the 3 minutes that's acceptable. But she didn't give up on me, and she really worked with me, as did all my professors. And it was my professors sitting in classrooms that were encouraging me to speak up and share my experience, saying, hey, we see that you have a resume. You're not a wet behind the ears 20-something-year-old. You're an adult who's been out there, who's doing this. We want to hear from you. What are you seeing? Here's the theory. And I think if more colleges took this approach, I think then we have a better educational system in this country. And I think experiential learning is critical, not just at our age, but at any age, because we've all experienced things along the way. And I, like most people that come to Cambridge College, didn't start off on the straight and narrow. I started out, I was the youngest child of an Italian immigrant who came to this country, couldn't speak English, and reading through some of his journals after he passed, it was pretty funny to see his progression, or I shouldn't say funny, but ironic, because I saw a young man, not my father, but a young man, who was coming to this country because he felt like he could do better, and he really had an opportunity here. He didn't go to college. He didn't even really finish high school until he was in his 60s, and that's thanks to the internet. But when he came here, he actually didn't even know what he wanted to do, and he tried a bunch of different things, and he ended up landing in the beautician business. And he used to say to me, kid, when you get older, you're going to go to college. You're going to be the one to do it, and you're going to make something better of yourself. And when I was in high school, he put me through prep school, or he started to anyway. And then I decided, no, I want to be a musician, Dad. I want to grow my hair down to here, which I did. Didn't go over well in a Catholic school, I must say. But he let me. He said, whatever you want to do, I don't care. You want to drop out of prep school, you want to go to public school where you can practice your music and learn something different. He said, you go ahead and do that, but you go to college. And so I did. I dropped out of prep school. I went through Revere High, where I took sign language, where I learned music theory and composition. And then I went on to music school. But of course, I didn't stay on the straight and narrow even there. I ended up dropping out, not once, not twice, but 3 times. And so it wasn't then, 3-time loser, right? I hit the workforce, get out there and make some money, and you never look back. I had an opportunity in the 90s to open up a little pizzeria, and it was very tough. I failed miserably, but my dad was there to help out, and he taught me a lot through those years. And it wasn't until 2007, a combination of me applying for a job and person at the other end of the phone saying, well, you don't have a degree, we can't even consider you for this position. And my father's passing, that got me soul searching and thinking about my life. And that led me to look for a school that would take me. But I still wasn't convinced that I should be doing it the right way. So I was looking for any shortcut I could take. And I remembered in one of my previous academic lives that one of the students that was with me said, oh, there's this school, Cambridge College, they take real life credit, and they'll apply it, toward your degree. And I said, that's for me. That's all I've been doing is working, right? I have some schools, so I can even use that. And so I chose Cambridge College probably for all the wrong reasons. And I remember Professor Hogan sitting with me, my academic advisor, and looking across from me, he said, I get it. You don't want to pay to take courses and do things that you've already done. We don't want you to do that. But we want you to leave here having changed, having gained something from the experience. And I said, yeah, okay, that's great. But I still wasn't convinced. And I said, this LRN thing, what's this? Professor Hogan looked at me, and very patiently, I might add, said, well, we think that you should take it so that you can learn and understand what it is you're about to endeavor on. I know what I'm going to get into, right? I'm going to go back to school, I'm going to take some tests, I'm going to get my degree, and I'm going to get a great job, period. And he said, well, okay, sure, but there's a little bit more to it. And that class with Professor Carol Brown, sitting back there tonight, was my first Cambridge College class. And it taught me to be a little bit more introspective about the journey. And as a matter of fact, I think one of my first papers that I wrote for her was, I just want to get through this as fast as I can, period. And then somewhere along that journey, things changed for me. And I found that I was falling in love with the school. I was falling in love with the way that the teachers taught me. I was falling in love with the fact that the students, whether they could endure my never-ending questions in class or jumping up and down, saying, no, but what about this? Or not, they still helped me, right? They gave me advice. Those students who had been through it once or twice already told me which teachers I should avoid, which leads me to a little piece of advice, by the way. One of the lessons that I learned, and I learned the hard way, is that when you ask somebody, oh, what did you think of Professor so-and-so? Realize the source, right? Just like we learned in information literacy, where you have to actually go and validate the source that you're getting information, because that student may think a lot like you, or may even have similar experiences, but not with that professor. And I was told by a student, at all costs, avoid Professor Bob Awkward. And I have to say, one of the best teachers I ever had. If I had listened to that source, I would have missed out on a golden opportunity to learn economics like I had never understood it before. And I had tried once or twice before. So with that said, for those of you who are in classes today and you're asking the person sitting next to you, what did you think of so-and-so? Consider the source, validate it, and ignore it. Try it out for yourself. With that said, I'd like to backtrack a little bit. When I came to Cambridge College, I thought, and Leslie, please start playing the music if I'm hitting my time. When I came to Cambridge College, I thought I was unique. I thought, I had a son when I was 19 years old. I'd been at this 3 or 4 times. And I realized my story is like a lot of people here. I wasn't unique. My story was actually pretty tame by comparison to 4 children and working and, going to school. But I still realized, or I still learned that I was special. Just because I wasn't unique didn't mean that I didn't have something to contribute. And Cambridge College taught me that above all things. Thank you.
I gotta come behind Marco.
Thanks, Marco. Hi, everyone. I just want to start off by thanking Dean Robinson, Dr. Robinson, the Provost, Leslie, Tiffany, and Rebecca for asking me to come to speak to you tonight. And of course, I've got stuff written down and I'll probably deviate from it. But to get the 7 minutes in and not go over too long. I was born and raised in Boston, grew up in the city, Mattapan, went to public schools, West Roxbury High School, graduated. I had a basketball scholarship, played a little ball in Texas, and I came back to Boston to work because I had my son at a young age, and my then girlfriend, was struggling, so I had to be there. I had to leave school And I started a small cleaning business back then. And I was working in the Boston Public Schools. I worked as a para, a community field coordinator, and I'm not going to give the dates, but you know, the Boston Public Schools had a program. I was a para working in Boston, and they had a program at Cambridge College where you can get credits, and they use your real life experiences. And I had credits from college, from Texas, and I said, man, this is awesome. And then I started going to classes. This was a while ago, and I realized then, I said, man, there's a lot more to teaching than you see from the outside. I mean, I was a para, but I didn't have to cover classes and correct tests and lesson plans and talk to parents and conferences and things. I kind of was the buffer between the parents and the students, and kind of keeping the climate and culture. That was my job then. And I did that for some time, and I was here in Cambridge, and even back then, there were students my age, there were students younger. It was an awesome atmosphere, and I ended up leaving, and I went to help raise my family. My wife, we got married years ago, and I worked in Boston, but I just, I deviated, but I also stayed in, and I got into facility management in Boston Public Schools. We had started a school called Community Academy. In the 90s, it was all the gang-related kids were students. We had kids from Orchard Park, Mission. I think Bubba was there with us at one of the schools as a teacher. And, I says, I want to make a difference. I want to make a difference. I got to go back. I got to go back. And my boss, who's my mentor, Roger Harris, at the Renaissance School, he kept saying, man, you got to get a degree, man. You got to get your degree. You got to finish. You're in school, you're working in the schools, you got a gift, man, you got a story, you can help, you make an impact on kids, man, but you got to get your degree. Dr. Harris went and got his PhD from Boston College, and he said, you got to get it. Years went on, and I'm going to kind of narrow it down, but I ended up coming back. I came back a couple of years ago, it seems, yeah, and I first came in. I was the chief operating officer at this time of the Boston Renaissance School. We had just completed a $38 million project. I ran the construction. I was the owner's rep at Renaissance. And I said, I'm going to go back, man. I'm going to get my degree, because things started happening in the schools, and budgets were getting cut. And my boss is saying, hey, man, you're making more than teachers with master's degrees. You need to go back to school. I said, yeah, but I'm facilities. They don't do what I do. They're not here shoveling in the winter. I'm here in the summers. They get to fly home. They get to vacation in the summers. He says, yeah, but you got to get the degree. So I called Cambridge College. I had owed some money. That's one of the things. Pay your bills. One thing I can tell you guys, pay your bills and try to keep your credit straight, man. You're going to need credit, all right? If anything you get out of this, pay your bills and try to keep your credit right. So they told me to talk to Mr. Scapacci. I called him. He's like, hey. He says, geez, I said, look, I want to come back to school. Whatever I need to do, I want to do it, And he says, well, if you come in and you take care of this, you can get back in. So I went home, talked to my wife of 20-something years, and I said, I'm ready to do it. Our daughter's at Framingham State, man, I want to finish before she does. She was like going in her junior year, right? I said, I'm right there. I'm going to get, I said, Janelle, I'm going to get you, watch. I'm going to graduate before you do. So I paid, and then I came in and I met with the folks, and then Rebecca ended up being my guy. And I said, listen, Rebecca, I want to finish quick. I don't want to be here 3 or 4 years. I want to get done fast. So she's like, okay. And we start talking classes and things, and I'll never forget, I loaded up pretty heavy with classes because I didn't want to fail, or I didn't want to stop this time. I had to get done. I didn't want to prolong it. I says, I'm going to hammer it out. My boss is behind me, and he's pushing me to get my degree. So I ended up getting my degree, and I finished, right? It's all great. But then I'm expecting, a raise or something, right? I'm saying, hey, I busted my hump. I got my degree. And I says, well, budgets. budgets. Are we actually gonna have cuts? So I said, and that's when it hit me. I said, I just finished my degree. I'm a college graduate. I said, I'm gonna create my own job. I said, I got the experience. I network. That's my gift, is networking. If you want to get somewhere, meet people, follow up. I know the owners of the Celtics. I got season tickets for the Patriots because, and it's not that I make tons of money. I'm a networker, and my the guys that I was buying supplies from for the school, and they said, man, you should go into business for yourself. So finally, it stuck. It stuck, and I said, man, I can do this. I can do this. So I went and I filed my corporation papers. I hired an accountant and started getting things. And I'm telling you, man, God is good. Things just started happening. And then my job, my boss says, well, I may have to move you, to another position. I said, no, this is what I do. I says, I'll go part-time. He says, yeah? I said, yeah, 3 days a week. I said, give me X amount of dollars. I work 3 days a week, and I'll be on call. I'll still run the staff. I got about 12 staff members, 10 or so vendors, that report to me. And we subcontract with that manage the school, HVAC and electrical and things. And he says, you'll do that? I said, yeah. Because I'm thinking, you know what? I'm beat him at his own game. I'm going to take the 2 days a week and start pumping my company, on my days. And I did. I went and got my certifications. I got my DEB certification, my MD, which is Minority Business Enterprise, and the disadvantage. The disadvantage just gives you more access to federal jobs, where there's a requirement that they have to give a certain percentage to minority companies, but you have to qualify. And no one likes to go through the paperwork. I went through the paperwork. I said, bring it. Give me all the paper you got, because I'm finished. And but going back to Cambridge, the classes were awesome. I was in class with some people, but it was great because I had a couple of girls that knew my son. They're like, hey, how's Craig doing? Yeah, I think you had a party when he was at BC High, and we came over the house. I'm like, whoa. I went home, I said, Craig, I'm in class with some of your friends. And then there were colleagues that worked in Boston, in the BPS. So it was just awesome experience, and the professors were great. John Silver is my guy. He's just my guy. He gives it to you straight, And there'll be a couple of stories, but he gives it to you straight, man, because I do not like math. And I told him, I said, I don't know. I beat him as Big John. He says, big guy, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. So I said, all right, if you can get me through this, and we did, man. But in closing, you're in the right place. Network, meet people, follow through. I'm gonna tell you a little about today. I was in my office going through some things. This is one of the days that I worked. It's Wednesdays, and my dad worked Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So I'm in my office. I'm just kind of thinking about tonight, you guys. So what am I gonna say? I got Provost coming, and Becca is gonna be here, and probably some professors and students. Then I get a call. Dr. Robinson. Craig, what are you doing? I'm just in my office. What are you doing tonight? So I got to go to Cambridge College. He says, I got 2 tickets for you for the game tonight, if you want them. And then you know how the movies, things start flashing through your head, right? I said, man, I got a commitment. I got to be in Cambridge College 6 to 8. How about if I come about 10 past 8? He said, well, I really like you there. 5:30, 5:45, we're gonna have some drinks. We got a box. This guy, he's big time, box. He said, but Craig, I appreciate what you're doing. And he says, what you're doing, when you commit to something, you have to follow through. This guy lives in the Four Seasons. So when, and he's giving me the advice. When you follow through, you will succeed. He says, don't. He says, you go and do what you commit yourself to do. So I'm here. I'll be watching at home. But no, I say that to say, in all seriousness, treat people right. I don't know if you decide to go in business. If you want to work for people, that's totally fine. There's very successful people that work. Steve Paliuka is a good friend of mine with the Celtics. He's with Bain, but he owns a ton of other things. And and again, these guys, all about business, commitment, network, be true to your word, don't deviate, and good things will happen. Study. I did 6 classes, 2 semesters in a row. I took 6 classes and a capstone. They thought I was crazy. Rebecca was like, he's going to 6 classes. She's like, whew. Man, I was going to Lawrence. Man, I was all over. My wife was like, what are you doing? I got to go to class, man. I'm going to Lawrence. Weekend. Got to do it. No golf? Nope. It was tough, but you got to give up things. You got to sacrifice for what you want, because it's not going to come to you. I think I was going with, with the Michael Jordan. Nothing of value comes without being earned. You got to earn what you want. You go after it, you get it. And there's going to be people that try to pull you down. There's people pulling me down. You start your own business, you got a good job. Yeah. But they don't have the vision that I have. Because I know people that are doing what I do that are doing really well. And they network, and they follow through, they keep their commitments, credit's right. It was today, I was sitting with a banker to get a $100,000 line of credit. I need credit because I got contracts that I'm bidding on. I'm gonna need cash to pay people, or they're not gonna work. I don't care how much committed you are. You can be a networker all you want, but when people are working, they want to get paid.
Right.
But you have the relationships with the banks. You talk to people. You represent yourself. You give them what you got. You explain your story, and you let the chips fall where they may. If it doesn't happen there, it'll be someone else. So that's my advice to you guys. It's an honor to be here. I appreciate it, and that's my time.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Well, Craig is a tough act to follow, so I'll do my best. When I started Cambridge College, I originally thought I would be here for maximum 1.5 years. I'm now approaching my 8th year as a Cambridge College community member. When I started Cambridge College, I was fresh out of high school. I really didn't want to go to college because I had an unconventional youth. So I just decided I'm going to use my 3 languages to become a medical interpreter. About a month or a semester after being in the medical interpreter program, I realized how transformative the education system is here. So I decided to transfer into the Bachelor of Arts Psychology program, which I continued for, let's say, half a decade. I transferred into the program about the same time that I decided to adopt my niece. So like many students here, I had to juggle family, work, self-care, a lot of things that was new to me as a young teenage person in college. But the support system here helped me get through it. Primarily before I had the great honor of meeting Dean Robinson and Leslie Condor, I was able to find support in my professors, primarily my psychology professors. Some are here today, some are teaching right now. I don't want to take too much time, but yes, my journey here kind of took an unconventional turn, longer than I expected, because I got placed in situations to do a lot of things to help transform this school. I could go into much details, but I know we're going to have questions later, and I want to say and expand upon that later. If I have an advice for all of you here, I say confidently and clearly communicate your ideas to the right people. And when they offer you extra responsibilities, say yes, because that's how you're going to get far. And also learn to juggle everything. Academics first. Yes, without the academics, nothing happened. Yet also, this is a college for working adults, so there will be more opportunities besides the academics. One of the things that attracted me to Cambridge College is besides the affordable tuition, is the flexible schedule and the fact that they definitely get that we're adults. Although I was a teenager when I arrived here, I definitely had an adult lifestyle and I needed a non-traditional institution that understood that. And Cambridge College is the place, and that's why I'm staying with Cambridge College. About a month before I completed my undergraduate career here, I had no idea what I was gonna do. I just decided I'm gonna get a job and that's what I'm gonna get, and that's what I want, because originally I didn't plan on getting a bachelor's from here. But during an event, I met a successful professional who reflected to me something that I had forgotten about myself. Well, specifically my leadership qualities. And he told me that I should definitely enroll in the School of Management, the organizational leadership program, and then I can, spread my wings and fly and do whatever I need to do. I just started that program last summer, and I have to say I feel right at home. The program there is very interactive, it's all inclusive. There's more of a community there because we're graduate students and we take more of our management classes together. In a way, I'm relearning all the things that I love about Cambridge College, so it's like seeing it with a child's eyes, but with an adult's mind. I'm gonna pass it on to Wendy because I want to save the best for the questions, the Q&A portions, and the questions that Tiffany's gonna give us. But I definitely hope you all absorb as much as you can and you stay connected after the event. You stay connected with student affairs, you stay connected with the alumni office, you stay connected with Leslie, because that's how things are gonna get done. Things are changing at Cambridge College. I can honestly say I've been here for about 8 years, and this is the time to do all the special things that you see here at Cambridge College. So don't be shy, speak up and connect with the right people. Wendy?
Well, first of all, good night to everyone. Before I say hello to everyone officially, I'm going to take my hat to you guys. I really feel proud of being part of you. And thank you, Leslie, and all of you for inviting me to be part of this panel. First of all, I would like to say thanks to all the students that are here. I took classes with some of them over there. I found some of my friends. And of course, my professors are back there. I'm really happy to be here, but at the same time, I'm really nervous. I never be in front of other people talking. You're gonna realize that I kind of talking fast, and you might find some errors in my English, but I don't mind. I hope you don't mind either. I usually talk in front of other people, but in my native language, which is Spanish, and my church. Never like colleagues, people that maybe know more than me, but we're here to learn, and we're here to share a good moment, and that's what I'm here for. So I'm going to tell you about my life, a little bit about my journey through all this. I came to this country when I was the age of 19. I came from Dominican Republic, like I mentioned before, and I didn't really want to come here because I have my life, my whole life made over there. I had my whole family, my friends, and I was already starting college over there. I started in accounting, but then my mother says, hey, we waited for like 9 years for this resident. We need to go. And I was that younger one. I was like, okay, minor, I have to come over here. I don't want it. But then after I was here, say I have to wait for the papers. So why I have to start go to school. I started getting some classes here and there in English, which I don't know how did I get so high level when I didn't have no English as a background. And I said, well, okay, let me start. I start my classes, I start working, and then get my paper. And then I said, well, should I go back again? I'm gonna go back again and start from zero again? I don't think so. So I decided to keep going, and I started taking some classes of English. Then after a while, I had my first child. And that was give me the energy to keep going, but kind of slow, because I have to be attending my child, and I was a single mother by that time. After that, I heard for offer to work in the preschool. And I said, well, okay, let me see. I never worked with in daycare or anything, have to be with kids. I just have 1 year old. I said, okay, let me try. I just went to the interview. My English was like this. Especially, I didn't know how to call a pillow. I was like, what is this? Pillow. And I feel so embarrassed because one of the kids, I remember one day, she said something so funny. I thought it was funny. And I repeat after her. And when they say, Wendy, what did you just say? I was like complete red, and I turned. I'm going to say what it was. It was bad. Well, I thought it was bad, and it was bad. So I was like, no. I have to definitely at least learn English. And sometimes when we come to this country, being a teenager or no teenager, the first thing that we learn, there's bad words. I really don't learn the bad words. I don't know. Sometimes I have to ask my kids, what does that mean? I still have to ask my kids, what does that mean? And if I say something wrong, Mom, what did you say? I'm sorry. What is that? So, but then after that, I started taking some classes in one of the community college around my town in Lynn. I used to live in Lynn. And I get an associate. And I was like, okay, yes, I got this. And believe me, it took me 11 years to finish an associate degree. 2 years. 11 years. And not because I didn't want it, not because I was a bad student. No, I passed all my classes. Definitely, I did pass. But I have to take breaks because in that process, I get married. I have 2 older kids. Right now, I have 3 lovely kids. I love them. 21, 15, and 13. So my hands are totally full. And plus a husband, a full-time job, and everything. In that process, I found a job, or they gave me an interview as well to go to work at the public school. And I was like, oh, let me see. After I got everything for childcare, I was already have the certificate to be a director 1, to have my own center, and I was even ready to make my own center. I got everything set up like crazy. I love that. I love to be initiative and start something new. And I was like, okay, I have my partner, I have the place, I have everything. But then I guess I was holding from one of the branches of that tree and I went down with that. So I said, okay, let me go to see what did they offer me. I just went there and they offered me, okay, let's start in the morning, a full-time job, and this is what you're gonna pay. So, okay, like, great. It was like the best that I was expecting. I was like, okay. So I started working there, and because of the regulation have changed in the public education, on all of them, by the way, I have to keep taking some more classes. I was like, I don't want to go taking more classes, even though I love going to school, definitely. Maybe I'm not the best student, maybe I don't have the best memorization and everything, but I love school, and it's a passion for me. So when I was like, then after a few years, I transferred myself to East Boston High School. And I met those people that one of my colleagues says, hey, Wendy, what about if you go to Cambridge College? I was like, well, the school has some connection with other colleges, and I went to the interview with the 2 of them. And I have registered with one of them, but not transfer, not anything. So I was like, let me see. He said, okay, Wendy, I'm gonna come with you. And we went to one office up there, 2nd floor. I forgot his name, Andrew. Don't ask me his last name because I don't remember right now. And we went there and he told me all the details that I need to know. I don't know how I ended coming to my lovely Rebecca right here because she helped me a bunch. And then he told me, okay, this is what you need, and we can transfer the whole associate that you have over here. So, yes, okay, starting. So I start classes, 2 classes. I start with the basic that maybe a lot of you guys doesn't have to take, writing skills, because my writing was really, and still, but I'm there. I'm getting there. I will be there really good soon. After that, I take a break again because I promised my older daughter, I says to her, listen, I'm gonna go to school, I'm gonna graduate, and I'm gonna graduate the same day that you graduate from the middle school. Okay, mommy. Middle school came. That's when I graduated from the associate. I said, oh my goodness. And then I go back again to my daughter and I told her again, say, wow, that's the way that she thought. Well, you told me you're gonna graduate from the bachelor and you didn't. I said, okay, fine. When you graduate from high school, 4 years, I will graduate from a bachelor. She graduated from the high school, and I was still going here. And I was like, and she didn't say anything else to me. I was like, okay, well, I was coming here, and that process, she was going to college as well. She went to Tennessee, and she went there for 3 years. She has an associate right now. And I was talking to her one day, and in that time, I took like 5 classes, and I'm like, great. I was like killing myself. Like, I have to do it. I have to do it. I wasn't able to do my ceremony of the graduation on the 12th because I was doing my last class, but I did my ceremony the 13th, but I get my diploma the 12th. That's good. I remember I told Rebecca, listen, I don't know, I don't care what I have to do, but I just need that paper that says that I did it. And she said, okay, no. I said, I don't care about the ceremony. Well, that day come. But then when I talked to my daughter, I said, listen, I was in the middle. I'm telling you that they telling me this at work, and I'm gonna get this, and I'm gonna get this. I said, listen, Mom, I wanna hear no more about all the excuses. You've been telling me that you're gonna be graduated before I finish, and I'm gonna be finishing next year, and you're still there. And that's what wake me up. Say, hey, Wendy, what are you doing with your life? So I have to finish. That's when I decided to take like 5 classes at once, like that. And she told me once, Mom, how did you do it? You get A's. I don't get A's. I said, oh, honey, I'm sorry, but that's me. You know, I might take my time, but I'm good. And she all the time says, Mom, what about if we take classes together and you can help me? I said, what? So it's funny because sometimes kids think that you are superwoman or whatever, or maybe because they grew up, they think they're able to do everything, but then they find out that, hello, you mom, and you too, you're able to do it. But then she was there, and I was here, and I received my certificate, my diploma, and I called her, hey, I got it. And then when I went there, by the way, for her graduation, I said, listen, we now can celebrate together because I already have mine. So I'm just telling you this time, it's not a wall in front of you. It's just you. It's in you and your decision. You have to take the step up. You need to do it. Nobody's going to do it for you. I know that we have situations in life. I know we have kids, we have family, we have work. I had it too. But I did it. And if I did it, believe me, you can do it. And you can do more than that. Thank you for being here tonight.
Thank you. All of you, thank you. So it was great hearing about each of the panelists' individual journeys, that helped them to get through their program successfully. Now we have this audience full of individuals who would love to know, specifics about how you made it through. So again, I'm going to pose a few questions for you all and chime in if it relates to you and your journey, and we'll go from there. So we'll start with one basic question. Why did you guys choose the degree you chose? What was it that geared you towards psychology or human services or multidisciplinary studies? And anyone can answer.
I'll take a crack. No, because I chose the multidisciplinary because I chose the multidisciplinary degree because, as I said earlier, I started in education. So I had like education classes, I had psych classes, and I kind of wanted to, go into facility management, which you can't really get a degree for. So it's kind of like a business, it's a multidisciplinary. And the degree was perfect for me because I had some business courses, I had some psych courses, I had writing, I had math, so it gave me a well-rounded education when I came back, and it was perfect to go into business through a multidisciplinary degree. So that was kind of, it just worked out perfect. My credits were transferred, and you know, I sat down with Rebecca and I said, hey, you know, this is what I want to do. I want to do facility management. And at the time, I don't think I had talked about starting my business at that point. I just wanted to get back in school to get my degree. But the multidisciplinary is fascinating because we got to do so many different things. You know, it worked out perfect for me.
Thank you, Craig.
Go ahead. Okay, I'm just gonna add something to that, even that is not a story, but I choose that one for the same reason, because I'm in the range of the education. And like I mentioned before, I work in East Boston High School, but I work with special education. Right now, I'm studying on my master on moderate disability. And this is a way that lead you anywhere you wanna go. And it leads me where I wanted to go. I want to go to education. I want to go to disability. I want to go to anywhere. This is my way. That's why I choose multidisciplinary.
Thank you.
I chose a Bachelor's of Arts in Psychology because of my interest in human development. And I decided to choose a holistic concentration because currently we are experiencing a lot of challenges here on planet Earth that seems to require a holistic perspective or approach.
Okay. Marco, would you like to add?
Sure, I chose business for all the wrong reasons, like I said earlier. It was kind of what I had the most credits to apply toward. But what I discovered was that it was the perfect play for me, and I was able to apply that in a very unique way in my career because I'm in information technology. And so one of the challenges that people have in information technology is everybody assumes that you don't understand the business, that you're just all about, you know, technology and gears, right? So being able to show that, hey, I have this business acumen as well was really allowed me to add more value than I otherwise would have.
Okay. Thank you. Now, I know we spoke a little bit about how to succeed in a certain profession, but if you had maybe 3 good points of how one could be successful after graduating and searching out that career, what would it be? What advice do you have on how to succeed with your bachelor's degree?
I recommend applying to a master's program. Definitely, if you want to continue residing in Massachusetts, you definitely need a master's degree to live comfortably, and that's why we are getting our degree. We want to change something in this world, but we also want to take care of ourselves. I also recommend you stay connected with the school which you got your degree from. You volunteer for events, you do things like these alumni career panels, you stay connected with the alumni office, you stay connected with those who help you through your journey, because that's part of the networking, and those people can open doors for you. And you definitely want to have a plan as to where you're going to go. Is it going to fulfill you in personal ways or professional ways? And you want to make sure you bridge that gap and you find someone to help you do that, because you don't want to spend your time doing something that you regret later. You want to make sure that you're on the right path, and Cambridge College is here to help you get on that right path if you had deviated before.
Yeah, I guess just to add to that, also, you know, one of the things, as I said, that I loved about Cambridge College was it really allowed me to apply my experience. And so when I walked out of class, it was an opportunity to use that experience in the real world, right? So as you become a supervisor or a manager within your given department, you know, you can apply what you learned in organizational theory, right? Or, you know, if you're in accounting, you can understand better how the operation works because you've seen it end to end. And so I think that taking advantage of Leslie's department is certainly a wise decision, and networking within the group, but also to take advantage of the education that you get, because it really is a huge value.
Thank you. Now, I think the word for tonight has been networking. So let's talk a little bit about networking. And I want to gear this to you, Craig, because you kind of mentioned in your personal story that networking is key. Now, how can one enhance their networking skills in order to be effective?
Well, you have to be a people person. You have to develop a passion for networking. I love meeting people, and exchanging cards and talking about what you do for work and how we can connect and do things. I suggest, when you meet people, you exchange numbers, and if you get an email address, shoot that person an email right away. As soon as you have access to a computer, find out, what they're about, and stay connected. Keep the numbers, because you never know. You may meet someone today that, you may not really have a connection with, but then later on down the line, you never know. Like Steve Pagliuca, I met him. Our kids were playing AAU basketball together, and they both got cut from the team. They were in the 8th grade, right? He was trying out for some AAU team in Sharon. And Craig, my son was a football player, and he just wanted to play basketball. And Steve, his son Joe, I think Joe's with Bain now, I think. He was a good, straight, student, and his skills weren't that great. So they both got cut. So Steve comes up to me. Now he wasn't with the Celtics. He didn't own the Celtics at the time. He had a regular suit, just jeans and just a regular guy. And he says, "Hey man, your son's pretty good. My son's good. Let's start our own team." I said, "Fine." He said, "You get the brothers from the hood. I'll get the kids from Newton and Wellesley. I'll get a gym. We'll have our own team." I said, "All right." And a few years later, I'm at breakfast with my wife. I was like, "Hun, Steve, this is Steve. He just bought the Celtics." And I called the house because we stayed connected and, and the networking, man. I stayed in touch. Didn't know, but he's a good guy. I knew he was a genuine person, and I just stayed connected. And now it's, I go to the games and hang out, and, but it's, and he's connected with business, so it's a good fit,
Just to add to that, though, I think what the point there was, right, is that it's about interacting with people. Don't think of it as networking to get somewhere.
Right.
Think of it as building relationships with people. And that's different than, hey, I'm doing this to get my next job or whatever.
Yeah.
They started off, they were genuinely trying to solve a problem
Yeah.
together. They built a relationship so that he could call him at home.
Yeah.
It wasn't, hey, what job can you get me tomorrow?
Yeah, absolutely.
I would definitely like to add to that. I know some students or some professionals get nervous when they're networking because the word just brings a lot of anxiety for some. You definitely want to remember that the person is a human being. Although you want to maintain your professional decorum, you want to remember that they're a human being. So you want to be casual with them. You want to talk about sports. You want to talk about building relationships and solving problems together. And if you're really nervous, just research them. Go on LinkedIn, go on YouTube. Find tips and tricks to handle yourself in the presence of a certain person, because you definitely want to know who they are as a human being, but you also want to know who they are as a professional so you can speak to the language that they understand.
Well, it's nothing to say. Just be ready if you see me there then.
Thank you. So just a few more questions before we turn it over to our audience to see if they have anything they'd like to ask. So how have you used your degree creatively?
I'll start with that since my degree is sort of creative. Yes, for those of you who are new to the holistic concentration, it's more of a mind-body practice or mind-body technique. So I definitely use the cognitive, the educational part of it, the intellectual part of it to just keep up with my wellness, but I also use it to do mind-body practices. I practice across the street at a yoga studio across the street, and I do some practice at home. Once upon a time I did do the sports club here, the martial arts club here, and there's different things like that I use it for. Of course, I meditate every day because it's necessary. That's how I use it personally.
Okay. And again, it could be personally or professionally.
Oh, did I go?
Yeah, of course.
Well, the way that I use, I would say creatively, it's, I do different stuff. First of all, I want to go track a little, and like something that Craig mentioned before, it was when he was a para, he wasn't able to cover the class or do this or do that. Like in my case, like this brought me to be able to cover classes, be in some conferences with the parents, be interpreting for English as, second language, being more involved with whatever's going on with the students in the school, being part of that community too, helping with the parents as well. And something else that I bring, not just personally, but even for the school is, I brought in some more information how to be healthy. And you mentioned about the martial arts, yes. I do Zumba with some of the students, and that's part of what I bring in. And I do some different classes that I'm bringing into the program, and that's what is helping me having this. Okay, so I'm able to do this. I get in this, so I can push this up. I can do it better for the students. I can do it better for me. I can do it better for the school. We have a whole session that we've been building up, and I'm not gonna bravo myself, but I will say I'm putting the big stone in the middle of the process of growing on the community, on the kids, and the things that we're doing in the school for them. And for outside the school, I do my own things with little kids, separate from the big kids, but everything has to be after what I gain from here, definitely.
Great. So a lot of involvement. That's what it sounds like. Just whatever you can find, continue to stay involved. So last, we'll end with this question, then we'll turn it over to our audience. How could Cambridge College students get to where you are? What are some ways they can kind of get to where you are today?
I would have to repeat again, you must be willing to share your ideas confidently and clearly to the appropriate person, and you have to be willing to say yes when they offer you more responsibilities. And research those responsibilities. If someone asks you to be a greeter and you have no idea what that is, go on YouTube, go on LinkedIn, find groups. And then, of course, use your resources. Use Leslie. She has tons of resources that she could email to you, videos, different things. She's on LinkedIn. So definitely you want to be willing to share your ideas, and then you want to be a leader for that idea by being in that position. Thank you.
How did you get here? Easy. Courage. That's what you need. Courage. That's what all we need. We need that to start here, to finish here, to stay here. So when you start here, you're not gonna finish after that black line over there. You have to keep going. That's the goal. Keep going. That's it. That's what I believe. What is bringing you here, and it's not just to be in the panel right here, just being even higher than whatever we have. We are just in the middle of whatever we want to be. We want to be more. I don't want to stay forever as a paraprofessional. Definitely I'm not. I might want to be a teacher. I might want to be more than a teacher. Who knows? I want to run my own program. Could be. So what do you have to do? Just have courage and keep going.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to add?
I'd say the same thing. For business, it's a lot of work. When you decide to work for yourself, there's a lot of long nights. There's times I'm up, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, going over payroll or trying to push out contracts or proposals. And as far as the Cambridge College, man, finish. That's to get where I'm at, man. Like I said, I took 6 classes. I hammered it. I love to play golf. I had to sacrifice, man. I had to give it up for a few seasons to get what I wanted. But set your goal. Find out what it is you want to get.
Yes.
You carve out your goal. You get it there, and you go get it. And don't let anybody come in between it. Family, friends. You got to do this for yourself. And that's what I decided. I said, you know what, I'm gonna do my own thing. I got a college degree, I'm gonna use it. And it comes in handy. I mean, I gotta send out proposals. If my numbers are off, either I'm gonna lose money or I'm not gonna get the contract. So, it's a lot of thought process, and it's hard work. No one's gonna give it to you. You just gotta take it, man. You gotta sacrifice. It's gonna be long nights. You're gonna have to give up things to do your papers and get your reports done. You just gotta do it. You gotta set your mind to it and say, this is what I want, and you go get it. No one can stop it.
You're gonna need some tears coming out. You will survive. You will survive.
I promise by the end it will be happy tears. Once
Yes.
you get to that stage, it's all happy tears.
I'd only add that I agree with everything that you said. And just that, I think you have to have the courage to fail as well, right? And so that's what we've all done, and we got to the point where we said enough is enough. What are we doing wrong so that we can start doing it right? If you know that going in, then you can start asking other people, how do you look at this? What am I doing wrong? And if you have the courage to be wrong and ask that question, then you'll start making some of the right decisions. And Cambridge College definitely taught that.
Thank you. So we'd now like to take this time to turn the question over to our audience. Do you have any questions that's been pressing that you'd like our panelists to answer for you?
Raise your hand if you do, and I'll pass you the microphone.
Okay, right up here, in front. She's going to bring you the microphone.
Oh. Yes, my question is for you.
Great. Great.
Who pays these classes for you?
Who paid?
Yes, these classes.
I did.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
By yourself?
yeah.
Good.
You said pay, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I took out a loan. I took out student loan. Yeah.
That's good.
I'm paying it. Sally Mae's sending me bills. I mean,
Me too.
and wait a minute, I got my Sally Mae and I got my daughter's Sally Mae.
Interesting.
Is there any other questions in the audience? I have one. Well, they're still stewing and thinking of their own. How did you actually get through your capstone? I think some of that's not where students are at yet, but they might be getting to that point. It's good to be thinking about that. How did you actually do that? You can even talk about what you did for your capstone, but just give a little bit of how you made it through, how you pushed through. How did you get to those happy tears?
I had to assess what kind of student I am. I had the great fortune of having LRN with Professor Moore, and he had me do a 10-year plan. And I realized, and then he had me focus on my weakness that could stop me from the 10-year plan. So when I was doing the capstone, I really focused on the fact that I knew I had difficulties with timing. So I started my capstone 1 year before I graduated because I knew I didn't want to wait the last semester and drive myself crazy. So be aware of what kind of student you are and cater your capstone schedule to that. And definitely reach out for resources. If you have a capstone professor, you definitely want to work with that professor and respect that professor. But if you have another professor that helps you develop your writing or any other skill, reach out to that professor while you're working on your capstone, because the entire Cambridge College community is here to support you as you develop yourself.
Well, I don't know if you really want to hear about the story that I have to go through with my capstone, but definitely, my decision was to take the capstone with one specific professor, but she wasn't able to teach that class on the summer, and I wanted to take it because I wanted to finish in that moment. So I took this class, and like I said before, sometimes there are tears coming, and they transform into happy tears, but it wasn't happy at the beginning, believe me. And Craig knows, he knows. Personally, like I said at the beginning, I struggle a lot with my writing and maybe even with my speaking, but doesn't make me stop. And that professor, maybe that pushing and being hard with a student is what we need. And that's what I needed in that moment. Because I just remember, like now when he says to me, "You're not gonna be finished. You're gonna do it for the next semester." And I was like, "No, I'm doing it now and I'm gonna finish now. Give me the time that you're giving to the rest of the student and I will do it." I was like, "You know what? I will do it. I will give you the grade that you deserve." I say, "That's what I'm asking for, the grade that I deserve." And I really worked hard. And I was just listening to that voice day by day by day into that day that I had to pass those papers. When I passed those papers, I was sitting on my living room waiting like 2 days after, or 3 days I believe, and I was waiting and I sit and I went to the computer. I don't want to go to my CC. I don't want to go to my CC. And I definitely wait for the last minute, which you didn't. I did wait for the last minute, which is no good. And I did it in the summertime, which is tough. And when I opened, I said, "Please, Lord, help me here." And I saw that, and the only thing I saw was, "Congratulations, you did it. It was a great job." And I was like, "Whoa." Oh, I don't want to talk because the tear's gonna come out. It was so happy. Oh my goodness, for real. It was so happy because I struggled so much through like 14 years, and I did it. And I was like, every time I sit in the classroom, I said to myself, like, did I belong here? That I supposed to be together with all these people that know English, that, you know, they're able to, you know, succeed, and I'm like, oh, did I belong? That yes, no, but in that process, especially being here, I met really, really nice people and professors, and I met Craig, which is really cool. And people like him and professor from Cambridge, even though that I felt the first day that I wasn't belong there, they made me feel comfortable, they made me feel like home, they made me feel like, yes. And that last class, it gave me the last yes. And believe me, it's hard, but the tears will come with joy. Just take your time, do it.
Wendy, I have a question for
Yes.
you. I actually have a master's, but I have a question for you.
Let me kind of give you this real fast. Thank you.
I have my master's, but I have a question for Wendy. And I'm saying this intentionally. I have my master's, and you're working towards yours?
Excuse me?
You're working towards your master's?
Yes, I do.
Okay, and I already have mine. What is a capstone?
What is a capstone? Capstone is the accumulation of all your work and getting information for, I can explain really in good details, but it's the accumulation of the work, and it's teaching you the way how to search for books, information, stuff that you need for the past and for your future. For like in terms of education, whatever you're gonna need, you're gonna search, you're gonna get, you can, it's some terms like, I know you know, things that you learn annotated, babe, that you have to go step by step learning how to process, how to get the information for each of the writers and things like that, and then write and get and do your own research and get your information and present it to the class.
So it's like an ILP for
Yes.
math.
Oh, okay, because
Yes.
that's why we're looking it up, and we're like, okay, what is this word? We've never heard of this word before.
Like a thesis, yeah. It's just maybe the way how I explained it to you. Maybe it's like, I don't know how to, but yes.
Remember your spirit. You have a wonderful spirit.
Thank you. I
And
need to
all of
keep it
you
up.
do, so we greatly appreciate hearing from you.
Thank you.
Yeah, just to go off of what Wendy said, the capstone is just the undergraduate's thesis and then the master's
Yes.
thesis. Does anybody else have any questions? Oh, wonderful.
Well, I feel very connected with all of you in a certain way because I love the school. I stopped my bachelor and I didn't graduate, so I was in the middle. So I like that all of you have, your life has, I see myself reflected in you, and I'm sure that many of us here, so it's very helpful, thank you. But at the same time, I want just to mention that I love the school, and when I begin the class, oh yes, I'm going to do it. I know I need to sacrifice this and that, but I will do it. But when the semester is coming in, oh, I suffer a lot. And I go in tears too. I say, what I did is, why? But well, when I finish, I say, yes, I did it. But well, just to mention that because I share with you, it's the same thing. I feel motivated, as you say, that you have been taking sometimes 3-4 classes, and you have the kind of like in this case that myself, that I have full time. I'm single, but I don't have children. But for me, sometimes it's very hard, and I like to be with friends too. So I like to socialize, and I know that I need to sacrifice things, and I do. But at the same time, I want to finish as soon as possible too, and continue continue my master. Yes, why not? And but I would like to know how you did when with the plans that this school offer, like for the weekends or how did you do when 3, 4, or 6 classes in one semester? I'm very curious because it sounds complicated and very, very, very difficult. I don't want to say impossible.
I think if I may, I never took anywhere near 6 classes, right? When I started small with 1 or 2, and for me, the mix that I found was best was I would try to take 2 weekend courses in a semester. So, the accelerated classes, and then 2 regular during the week classes, and that seemed to work the best for me. Of course, those weekends, like you mentioned, were extremely stressful, and I didn't want to get up on Saturday morning or Sunday to go to class, but that's how I did.
I think, Craig, if you could go over what you were telling us on Monday, well, us at our little meet and greet, about your very creative ways that you worked with Rebecca to do your 6 courses and whatnot.
Rebecca's awesome. I'll tell you that. But no,
Everybody's coming.
I like say for instance the 6, and I kind of remember, but I took the weekend classes. I took one in Lawrence, right? And then the intensives, I took one at the beginning of the semester, another one at the end of the semester. So they didn't overlap. I had like a week in between. So that was 2, and then 3. And then I basically just took 3 classes during the week, and then I think one day I had 2 classes.
Oh.
Yeah. It was rocking, man. I tell you, my head was spinning, man. But, again, that's what, you reach out to people, and you network, and like our CFO, and, I had questions about, different math, or when I took the business course, that scheduling class was tough, man. We had to do the wedding, and you had to schedule using the planning program. It was the project management. It was tough, and I would ask her things. I'd call her, hey, BJ, listen, and you just engage people, man. You get as much help as you can, and you gotta try to stay with the deadlines. Like the capstone was tough. I did 6 classes with the capstone my last semester, and I don't know if any of you had Professor Yakub, man, but he's no joke, man. This guy, I'm telling you, he had her freaking crying. And he said, you just try it again next semester, And, we were all like, come on, Wendy, you can do it. But, the way he got us through, it was really cool because he gave us deadlines. Okay, have your annotated bib by this date. We're gonna go over it, you need to have it. Get your body, work on your, what your capstone's going to be about. I did charter schools versus public schools. What's the difference? Because you got to have a pro and a con, and you got to prove your points, and the points for the people that are against what you think. So it's a lot of studying, it's a lot of getting things, but just like I didn't want to stop, man. I was determined. Like I told you about the focus and getting things done, man, I didn't, my boys were calling me up, hey, we got tea time, 9 o'clock Saturday. I'm like, can't do it, man. I gotta hammer this out. And it's gratifying when you finish. And that's why I said, man, I'm gonna start my own business. I need to run my own ship. I need to steer my own ship. I got a degree, I gotta use it. There's nothing wrong with working. There's very successful people that work in companies. Margot, we're all successful, everybody. Some of you, most of you are, but I just want to do my own thing because I like to be my own boss. I'm hard-headed.
Well, and you said you like to socialize, and just think of all the time you get to socialize afterwards, all the parties you get to have afterwards to celebrate your success.
Missed a lot of stuff.
That's what gets me through anyway.
Something else that I like to comment, because he give you a method how that he took the classes. Like it's another way. Like in my case, I took 5 classes at once, and it was like brutal for myself because I have the 3 kids and the husband in the house and everything. But I try to, like with Rebecca, we try to play around with the classes, and I personally took like 2 classes in one day, have 1 day off. 2 classes the other day. I don't know if that was the same thing you did. And then I didn't take classes on Saturday. I didn't take classes Saturday, but it was a class on Sunday from 9 in the morning, I believe, to 3 in the afternoon. I have to stay right here, and it was with Jaco, by the way. That was the first class with him. And I have to stay with, I have to stay, because I need to finish. And I did okay. It was like, I'm gonna be in my kid's game. I can't be doing this. He need to run the home over there. He need to play the house. He need to play everything. I had to play this part. My husband had to play the other side of it, of my life. So, but my kids, even though they were small, they understood. And like you say, you don't have kids. I have my kids that they were asking for mommy. But sorry, mommy have to do what she have to do. And they understood when I say, mommy need to study, please. No, they know outside or whatever, and they understood what I have to go through. So it's a way that we can play with our life, because we all have life, but this is important to have the other part of the life. So just play around, and definitely, right now for me, it's hard to keep going in the master, even though I started classes already, but this is putting me on the side, because I need to, like he says, have to talk with Sally for me and for my daughter as well, because she just finished the 3-year college. So I have to play with that around, plus whatever I owe here. So I have to a little and focus a little bit more. And my next step, which is my license for the state, that it's why I'm gonna keep going in this path if I don't have this. I need to have this for me to be able to keep going. Because I don't get, personally, in the position that I have right now, I don't get more of this if I don't have the license. I got the top of what I have. So I have to get the other part now.
Okay, thank you.
So we have time for one more question if anybody.
I feel like when I hear all of you, I feel like I am a runner. I like to run. And I feel like for me, I just run a 5K now. But my goal is to run the full marathon. And I feel like tonight when I heard you, I feel like I have to continue to practice my runner. And thank you very much that you're inspiring to us, because we know we have to go, we have to do it, right? And we have to enjoy what are we doing. Like the kids, right? They're going to school, they're enjoying, and sometimes they cry. That happened to us too, right? We are human beings, right? We cannot forget that we are human beings. Thank you very much for letting me to share.
So we had this last question.
Craig.
Oh.
You did a
Yes,
wonderful
dear.
job with my 2 sons at the Boston Renaissance, and now you have your own company. Would you be interested in employing one of them if they are looking?
Not Jerry. Of course, yeah, we
You did an
talk.
excellent job, so if
We'll
you
talk.
could discipline them in school, you could discipline them
Those
at
two
work.
was something else, man.
Okay, I accept.
I just want to thank everyone for coming. I'm going to turn this off. This seems weird. I just want to thank you all so much for coming. I hope that you got a lot out of this. I feel like you did. How could you not with such a great panel as this? I want to thank Tiffany for doing such a wonderful job moderating. And please, 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 after we give them applause, come up here and talk to them. Get their cards, get their business numbers, get their emails. If they don't have cards, they are so ready to share their emails with you. They want your emails. They want to be part of that support system that I was talking about at the beginning. So please, please, please come and network with them. That's what they're here for. So I'd just like to say thank you again and have a good night.